After a conversation with Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba about Ukraine's offensive in the Kursk region, EU Foreign Minister Josep Borrell said that EU fully supports the fight of the Ukrainian people.
I reiterated the EU full support to the Ukrainian people's fight. Putin hasn't managed to break Ukraine's resistance against his unjustified invasion and is pushed now to withdraw inside Russian territory. Josep Borrell, High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, on social network X.
Czech Foreign Minister Jan Lipavsky believes that Ukraine has every right to defend itself by advancing into the Kursk region, since Russia regularly strikes peaceful Ukrainian cities and has occupied some Ukrainian territories. According to him, international law allows Ukraine to defend itself even on the territory of the aggressor.
Russian aggression against Ukraine since 2014 has destroyed the lives of millions of innocent people. If we want just peace and not an illusion of it, the solution is the situation where all armies return to internationally recognized borders. Jan Lipavsky, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Czech Republic, on social network X. It has now become obvious to everyone that the escalation that everyone was afraid of, and that has always been in the rhetoric of the West, is not so great, not so serious, and there is a lot of the Russian Federation cannot afford. How can one explain to people, as Putin calls them, ordinary Russians, that Putin is ready to defend the occupied territories of Ukraine, but is not ready to defend them and the territory of Russia itself?
The offensive of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Kursk region forces the Russian Ministry of Defense to transfer troops from Kaliningrad to the region. This statement was made by the Minister of Defense of Lithuania, Laurynas Kasčiūnas, at a meeting with the President of Ukraine on August the 13th.
We are now seeing how the Russians are redeploying their troops to Kursk. I am telling the Lithuanian people, look how the Ukrainians are fighting for you, since because of their fight Russia needs to withdraw its troops from Kaliningrad. We even call it demilitarization of Kaliningrad, which is happening thanks to the bravery of your soldiers, thanks to your decisions.
If the head of the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin, does not like that the Ukrainians are defending themselves, then he can simply get the hell out of Ukraine. This is how John Kirby, White House National Security Communications Advisor, responding to the events in the Kursk region.
I'm not going to talk about Ukrainian military operations. As I said earlier, I will let them speak to what they are doing. We are in close touch with them, as you might expect we would be, and that will continue those conversations. But make no mistake about it, this is Putin's war against Russia. John Kirby, White House National Security Communications Advisor, during an online briefing on August 13th.
U.S. Senator from the Democratic Party Richard Blumenthal called the breakthrough of the border in the Kursk region by the Ukrainian military a historic one. At a briefing in Kyiv, he said that Ukraine had transferred the war to Russian territory. According to him, the senators want to convey a message to the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden that Ukraine should be given more flexibility in using the provided weapons to strike beyond the existing lines.
It is a seismic breakthrough. Good news, big news, promising even more potential breakthroughs.
At the same time, Kim Jong-un, the leader of the DPRK and Putin's ally, said that Russia would allegedly win the so-called holy war it is waging against Ukraine. But China remains an observer. Beijing reported that it is closely monitoring the situation in the Kursk region and calling on the parties to de-escalate. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Yulia Bil, UATV News.